And I know for one, our next guest has something to say about that, especially the judge's decision down in Georgia. And that's where we'll begin with the founder and president of the Article 3 Project, Mike Davis, back on the program. All right, the devil went down to Georgia and so did Fani. Let's talk about this, Mike Davis. The friend, the donor, this Judge McAfee, lets her get off with not even a slap on the wrist. Says, just fire your lover and you can keep going after Trump. So you're admitting she did something wrong, Your Honor, but you're not going to punish her for doing it wrong. You're going to punish the guy who was hired when she knew that it was against the rules. How does that work, Mike?
So the evidence was overwhelming and the law is very clear that Fulton County DA Fani Willis had an illegal financial stake in a criminal prosecution. That is an actual conflict of interest. Mm-hmm. Right there alone, this judge should have disqualified Fani Willis and the Fulton County DA's office from this case. They should have dismissed this case without prejudice so a new prosecutor could be brought in to decide whether to bring this case or not whether to bring this case, because it's not a crime to object to a presidential election. It's allowed by the Electoral Count Act of 1887. Democrats objected in 68, 2000, 2004, and 2016. They're not in jail. It's also permitted by the First Amendment to object to a presidential election and to lobby people to on elections, right? And so what this judge did was he had to contort the facts and the law to go out of his way to protect Fani Willis. And I think the reason he did this is because he's scared of Fani Willis. He worked for her. He couldn't even look at her at that evidentiary hearing when she was dragging him around his own courtroom. Like you said, he and his wife donated to their campaign. But the bigger issues are these. He faces an election in Fulton County, an overwhelmingly Democrat place where he has a Democrat challenger now that the Democrats put up since this motion to dismiss was brought up. And then also, remember, this is a Governor Brian Kemp protege. He worked for Governor Kemp. He was appointed by Governor Kemp. And Governor Kemp's going to have to save his ass when the voters of Fulton County, Georgia, throw him out of office after this next election.
Wow, I didn't know that. So when this case got brought up against her, the Dems threw up another candidate for the judgeship to run against him so he would feel the heat and pressure. Do the right thing. Let Fani go or else. Wow. There's some dirty damn Dems down there in Atlanta and Fulton County. Take it away. A couple minutes left. I did want you to hit on the Florida and the New York case with Bragg as well. So just hit them when you want. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, so this Soros-funded Manhattan DA, Alvin Bragg, brought this bogus case in New York for the non-felony of settling a nuisance claim that the Democrats tried to take supposed bookkeeping violations and bootstrap election law and turn them into felonies. The prior Manhattan DA, the prior Manhattan U.S. Attorney, the Federal Election Commission, Alvin Bragg himself declined to bring this case because it's such a dog. It wasn't until Matthew Colangelo went up there from the Biden Justice Department. He worked in the number 3 office, the senior political appointee to resurrect the zombie case. They know this case is a dog. They're trying to delay this case because they don't want to start their lawfare with their worst case, which is this case.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
And
finally, the documents case out of Florida and the raid. What's happening there?
So the classified documents case, it's the presidential records that President Trump's allowed to have in the office of former president under the Presidential Records Act. Judge Cannon is going to shoot this straight. She's going to do what a judge is supposed to do, which is ensure that the defendant gets a fair process. She's not going to carry the water for Trump. She's probably going to deny many of his motions. She's going to make sure that President Trump gets a fair proceeding, just like every other criminal defendant.
And you know what? That's the way it should be. Nobody's asking for preferential treatment for Trump. We're just asking for a damn fair judge, a fair prosecution, a fair jury. But it's not happening when you bring up Donald J. Trump. Mike Davis, president, founder, Article 3 Project, as always. Thanks for your insight, man. Really appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yep. Have a good weekend.